Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to your midweek rush hour rundown. And wow, buckle up because today's headlines are absolutely wild. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's friendship? Reportedly hanging by a thread. Yes, the sisterhood Hollywood adored may now be over. Meanwhile, the Laura Owens case just took a turn nobody saw coming, with shocking court transcripts surfacing overnight. So let's break down the truth, the tension, and the total chaos unfolding right now in pop culture and Hollywood's legal world. It's Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, and as the week hits its midpoint, the entertainment world is once again proving it never sleeps. The story dominating the internet today is the one no one wanted to believe. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, the once inseparable best friends, have allegedly gone no contact. Multiple insider leaks, quiet unfollows, and a string of carefully timed PR moves have fueled rumors that something serious has gone down between the two. Fans began noticing a shift weeks ago: Blake's absence from the Kansas City Chiefs VIP box, Taylor's silence during Blake's promotional appearances, and then the cryptic Instagram caption that simply read, "Sometimes distance is the only protection you have left." It didn't take long for Swifties and gossip trackers to start connecting dots. And according to one entertainment source close to both women, this rift has been building quietly for months. But what's interesting here is how both sides are now handling the fallout. Taylor has gone completely quiet on the matter, refusing to address it publicly, while Blake's team has been subtly reshaping her image. Remember, this comes just months after Blake's ongoing legal drama with Justin Baldoni, a storm that's still very much raging in the background. Insiders claim Taylor's camp has been uncomfortable with the way Blake handled her public narrative, especially after certain private text messages, allegedly between the two, were rumored to be subpoenaed in Baldoni's case. The public doesn't know what's in those texts, but the speculation alone has created a full-blown Hollywood frenzy. The optics are messy, the timing is terrible, and the fans? They're torn because it's not just two friends drifting apart. It's an entire media machine spinning a story that feels personal and performative all at once. Here's where things start to spiral, and not just for Blake Lively's public image, but for the broader web of Hollywood relationships that have quietly been built around her and Taylor Swift when word first broke that Justin Baldoni's legal team might have access to private text messages between Blake and Taylor. The internet exploded. Suddenly, this wasn't just a legal case anymore. It became a question of loyalty, privacy, and trust, the kind that can shake even the most carefully curated Hollywood. Friendships, sources close to Baldoni's camp say those messages are contextually relevant to the defamation proceedings, meaning if true, they could shed light on conversations that show what Blake knew when she knew it, and how she spoke about certain people involved in the film It Ends With Us. And that's the exact movie that started this entire chain reaction, the one Blake starred in, Baldoni directed, and now, ironically, the one that's tearing professional and personal relationships apart. Behind the scenes, Taylor Swift's camp is said to be furious about the potential exposure. Not because Taylor did anything wrong, but because the precedent this sets is chilling. Imagine your private messages, written in confidence to a friend, becoming court material for the entire world to dissect. That's a nightmare, especially for someone who's spent her entire career fighting for creative control and narrative ownership. Meanwhile, Blake's PR team has been in overdrive. Over the past week, we've seen a strategic push of family-oriented content, cozy home photos, motherhood features, and lighthearted interviews designed to soften her image. But the internet's not buying it. Comment sections are flooded with users asking one question: where's Taylor? And when one half of the most talked about celebrity friendship in modern pop culture suddenly vanishes, people notice. The silence speaks volumes. Because in Hollywood, when two A-listers go quiet at the same time, it's not coincidence, it's coordination. The only question now is, who's controlling the narrative and who's about to lose it? The reaction across Hollywood has been nothing short of electric, and the fallout is everywhere. Within hours of the no-contact rumor surfacing, entertainment circles lit up with speculation. Talk show panels, gossip podcasts, and celebrity PR analysts began dissecting the situation like a political scandal. Even late-night hosts couldn't resist throwing subtle jabs. One joked, "If Taylor's writing breakup songs about her friends now, we're all in trouble." But behind the humor, there's a very real undercurrent of tension. That's been building for months. Industry insiders have quietly confirmed that several mutual friends, including Ryan Reynolds, and Gigi Hadid and have been caught in the middle. One source even described it as a social Cold War, with both sides avoiding public overlap. Events, premieres, brand deals, everything suddenly needs strategic planning. One PR expert told Variety off the record, "When a friendship this famous fractures, it's not just emotional, it's logistical. Teams, endorsements, partnerships, all of it gets messy fast, and that's exactly what's happening." Behind the glossy Instagram posts and cheerful interviews, both Taylor and Blake are managing massive PR operations. Taylor, who's preparing for another leg of her record-breaking tour, has deliberately chosen not to address the rift, reportedly following advice from her legal team to maintain silence until the Baldoni situation settles. Blake, meanwhile, is navigating the dual storm of her career slowdown and ongoing legal pressures, and those pressures are starting to show. Online, fans have turned into amateur investigators. Threads with thousands of comments are tracking deleted photos, analyzing lyrics and rewatching red carpet clips for body language clues. Some point to that viral Met Gala moment months ago when Taylor seemed distant as Blake greeted photographers, alone as the first public sign of trouble. Others insist this is all a distraction from the much larger issue, the Baldoni case, and what might still come out in court. No matter which angle you look from, it's clear this isn't just a falling out, it's a full-blown media implosion. And for once, it's not the tabloids creating the story. It's Hollywood itself, turning its silence into spectacle. Now, here's where this whole saga takes a darker, more strategic turn. Because according to legal analysts and entertainment lawyers weighing in this week, what's happening between Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and now indirectly Taylor Swift isn't just about drama. It's about control of narrative and potential liability. See, once those rumored text messages became a point of legal interest in Baldoni's defamation proceedings, the game completely changed. Blake's legal team reportedly argued that the texts were irrelevant to the case, while Baldoni's attorneys insisted they reflect a pattern of communication that informs intent and defamation. In other words, if those texts show that Blake said or implied things that could have influenced public opinion about Baldoni or the production, they're fair game. Here's where it gets tricky. If Taylor's name is even mentioned in those exchanges, she's indirectly tethered to the evidence. And that's exactly what Swift's camp wants to avoid. Because for a megastar of her scale, even association with an active defamation case could invite headlines, misinterpretations, and reputational risk. It's the kind of ripple effect that no team wants to manage, especially one as meticulously structured as Taylor's. Legal experts now believe Blake's no-contact narrative may be a calculated distancing strategy, not necessarily personal, but protective. If Blake feels Taylor's legal advisors are advising her to step back, it could explain the cold silence between them. One Hollywood attorney told Deadline this week, "Once you hit the discovery phase, friendship and business rarely survive together. One person always gets advised to go quiet." Meanwhile, PR insiders are watching this unfold like a masterclass in modern crisis control. Taylor's silence is being praised as elegant restraint. Blake's recent public appearances, notably cheerful but noticeably guarded, are being dissected as overcompensation. The optics are delicate, the stakes are massive, and the tension between personal loyalty and professional survival has never been clearer. And now, everyone's waiting on one thing: whether those text messages ever make it to public record. Because if they do, the fallout won't just hit one star. It'll ripple through Hollywood's biggest circles, and it might just rewrite how celebrity friendships operate under legal scrutiny. So where does that leave us tonight? In a word, an uncertain. Because what started as whispers of tension between two friends has evolved into a full-scale Hollywood reckoning, one that touches fame, trust, and the fragility of image in a world that monetizes perfection. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively once represented the gold standard of celebrity sisterhood, loyal, witty, and untouchable. But the silence now surrounding their relationship feels louder than any public statement. Could industry insiders are already calling this a PR fault line, one that could reshape the way Hollywood handles private communications in the age of lawsuits and digital receipts. The Baldoni case remains active, and if the rumored messages between Blake and Taylor ever see daylight, they could shift not only public sympathy, but legal leverage. For Blake, that risk is enormous. She's balancing motherhood, a public career, and a legal battle that refuses to fade. For Taylor, it's about protecting a billion-dollar brand that thrives on carefully crafted storytelling. Fans, meanwhile, are split. Half are hoping for reconciliation, a quiet lunch, a shared photo, a small gesture that says everything's okay. The other half believe this rift was inevitable, that fame, money, and legal chaos eventually test every friendship. What's clear, though, is that both women are making calculated choices: silence as a weapon, distance as defense, and privacy as their last remaining form of control. As the headlines multiply and speculation spirals, one truth cuts through. This isn't just gossip. It's a glimpse into how celebrity lives intersect with power, law, and perception. And if this chapter has taught Hollywood anything, it's that sometimes the most devastating breakups aren't romantic. They're the ones that happen quietly between friends. The public reaction to this story has officially reached a boiling point, and what's happening now feels bigger than just Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. It's about the machine behind them, the way Hollywood spins silence into spectacle, and how fans online have become both detectives and jurors in real time. The first wave of reaction hit social media within minutes of the no-contact rumor breaking. TikTok creators dissected the timeline like an FBI case file, analyzing red carpet clips, timestamps of likes and unfollows, even comparing interview tones from last year to this summer. One viral post with over 4 million views simply said, "Taylor went from calling Blake her sister to never mentioning her again. Something happened." And that sentiment spread fast. Twitter and Reddit threads have been relentless. Fans are split into two dominant camps: the Team Taylor supporters who believe she distanced herself for her own peace and protection, and Team Blake defenders who argue she's being unfairly villainized by association with the Baldoni case. Both sides have receipts, theories, and emotional investment, the perfect recipe for viral chaos. Hollywood insiders, meanwhile, are quietly acknowledging how unprecedented this situation is. Rarely do private texts between A-list friends become potential court material. PR veterans are calling it the nightmare scenario, where celebrity loyalty collides head-on with legal exposure. One media strategist put it bluntly, "Blake's biggest risk isn't losing the case, it's losing control of her story. And Taylor's risk isn't legal, it's being dragged into someone else's narrative." Behind closed doors, there's talk that studios, luxury brands, and major event organizers are already reevaluating their upcoming partnerships. The reason? Reputation management. Public sentiment changes fast, and no major sponsor wants to get caught in the crossfire of a Hollywood feud tied to an active lawsuit. Still, what's fascinating is how this story reflects a much deeper cultural shift. Fans no longer just consume celebrity news, they participate in it. They build theories, share screenshots, analyze tone, and hold public figures accountable in ways that rival traditional journalism. In this case, that participation has blurred the line between speculation and narrative control. Because when millions of people start connecting dots online, it doesn't matter if the dots were ever meant to align, and through it all, Taylor's silence remains powerful. Every day she doesn't speak, the curiosity grows. Every photo she doesn't post with Blake, the speculation deepens. It's a modern form of storytelling without words, and the audience, knowingly or not, has become part of the plot. For Blake Lively, this chapter could define how she rebuilds her image post-trial. For Taylor Swift, it's a reminder that privacy in the digital era isn't a privilege, it's a strategy. And for Hollywood, it's proof that even the most glamorous friendships can fracture under the weight of fame, law, and perception. And when they do, the entire world watches in real time. As this story continues to dominate the entertainment world, what's become increasingly clear is that this is more than just a headline about friendship. It's a reflection of Hollywood's shifting power dynamic. The fallout between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively has exposed how personal relationships, public image, and corporate control collide in ways the public rarely sees. Behind the glittering facade of red carpets and curated social media posts, the industry runs on alliances: who stands beside whom, who protects whom, and who chooses silence when the cameras stop rolling. Taylor's decision to step back, to say nothing at all, is perhaps the loudest message of all. Silence in her world isn't absence, it's strategy. It's control, and it's working. Her refusal to engage has only amplified the mystery, turning her restraint into power. Blake, however, stands on the other side of that equation, fighting a legal war that's spilling into her personal life. Every move she makes is being interpreted, every word dissected. It's a pressure cooker few could survive with grace, and it's clear that her once unshakable confidence has been replaced by visible strain. Whether this divide with Taylor was a mutual decision or an unfortunate casualty of circumstance, the emotional cost is undeniable. Hollywood insiders are already whispering that this marks the beginning of a new era. One where celebrity friendships are treated like contracts, and where loyalty is only as strong as the last NDA signed. Fans are left heartbroken, torn between nostalgia for what once was and curiosity about what's next. Because whether or not the rumored texts ever surface, one truth remains. Something broke between these two women, and the world watched it happen in slow motion. And maybe that's what hurts most. Not the fallout itself, but the realization that even the most beautiful friendships can fracture under the spotlight. That sometimes the people who seemed untouchable are the ones fighting the hardest to keep their world from falling apart. And in this Hollywood silence, everyone's still listening, waiting for the story to finally speak for itself. And as the dust settles tonight, one thing has become crystal clear. Hollywood may run on fame and fantasy, but behind the polished smiles and red carpet moments, it's still a battlefield of power, silence, and survival. The unraveling of Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's once untouchable friendship isn't just tabloid drama. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when private loyalty collides with public scrutiny. Blake's world has become a high-stakes balancing act, a legal case threatening her credibility, a PR campaign working overtime, and a public eager to dissect every move. Taylor, on the other hand, has mastered the art of saying nothing while saying everything through absence. Her silence, deliberate and strategic, speaks louder than any public statement. It's a playbook in control, how to protect your narrative without ever stepping into the chaos. What makes this story sting for fans is that it feels personal. These were two women who seemed to embody genuine friendship amid a sea of Hollywood facades. To see that bond fracture under the glare of media, lawyers, and speculation hits deeper than any publicity stunt. It's not just about betrayal or distance. It's about how fame twists the meaning of trust. Whether reconciliation ever comes or not, this moment will mark a permanent shift in how celebrity relationships are perceived. Because in an age where screenshots can become subpoenas and silence can spark headlines, authenticity itself has become a risk. And maybe that's the quiet heartbreak beneath all of this. That even the strongest friendships, when filtered through fame and fear, can turn from sacred to strategic in the blink of an eye. As we close out this chapter, at least for now, the question everyone's asking is, what happens next? Because even though both Taylor Swift and Blake Lively have gone silent, the machinery around them hasn't stopped moving. Their names continue to trend daily. Their teams continue to maneuver strategically. And the story continues to evolve in ways that feel less like gossip and more like history in the making for modern celebrity culture. For Blake, the road ahead is steep. The ongoing legal tension tied to Justin Baldoni's case means her next move, legally and publicly, carries immense weight. If any portion of those alleged texts ever become part of public record, the fallout could reshape not just her reputation, but how Hollywood's elite handle private communication under legal pressure. PR insiders say her current strategy of over-positivity, leaning into motherhood, fashion, and lifestyle content, is a short-term play. But long-term recovery will depend on transparency, accountability, and how she chooses to address the elephant in the room,